Welcome back to Trigun Stampede, anime review, episode number 6. Reviewing the 6-episode series, Once Upon a Time in Hopeland. And with this episode, yes, I officially am caught up with this particular series. So, what happened this episode? Well, we're starting unveiling the backstory behind Nicholas Wormwood. Yes. Oh, he's an Undertaker, and if you know, there's actually more than that. So, the main portion of this episode is that we have Mara and Roberto sort of separating from Vash and Nicholas when they go out in the sand steamer. This actually is the first time in this series it actually has appeared. Now, you might be asking, did the sand steamer appear in the previous series? Yes, it did. And did the series update the design of the damn thing? Yes, slightly anyways. They get a little more open. And we don't get a chance to see much of it in this series like we did in the original one. One thing, there's no mention of a casino. There's no mention that basically the cabins are basically like the bunks you see on trains. You don't get a chance to see much of the thing because most of us are on the ship where you have this mysterious guy who's partially cybernetic, which this actually is one of several characters making his anime debut in this series here. The guy who's showing up here, this is Levio Double Fang. This is his anime debut. And was he partially cybernetic in the manga? Yes. He made his debut in Trigun Maxim number 36. And you're thinking, 36? Out of 96 chapters. Yeah, 96. So basically about 6 chapters before the series ended. Excuse me. And like in the case of the manga, he basically is a friend of Nicholas D. Wolfwood. There's also the debut of Legato Blue Summers. Yes, in this series anyways. Though he did appear in the previous series, and looking at him, aside from the fact his hair is blue, he's a little more vicious than he was in the previous series. In the original series, he was voiced by somebody else. They changed his voice actor for this one. Everybody thinking, this guy here, Legato Blue Summers, who voiced in the series, Damon Miles. Yes, in the original series, he was voiced by Richard Castillo. Yes, that's who voiced him in the original series. Now Legato is definitely an original character for this one because he didn't appear in the previous one. Does it correct dub actor? No, not really. It doesn't speak in the episode. So, there's a shooting, of course, then we show off Nicholas Wormwood's backstory. Done in a different animation style. Yes, done in sort of a very two-dimensional artistic style. Where it's done as a silent movie somewhat for a bit until we get to a little more different stuff. So, he's basically walking this orphanage, known as Hopeland Orphanage. This also is the anime debut of the director of the orphanage, Miss Meline, which this episode here is her debut. Yep. And you're thinking, did she appear in the previous series? No, she never did, and she made her first appearance in the manga in Trigun Maxim Chapter 51. So we have 2 characters so far this episode who make their anime debut in this one. Now, why in the world was she not featured in the previous one? Because the anime decided to stop adapting with episode, I think it was 12 or 13, they stopped adapting. They did adapt the entirety of the original manga for Trigun. It's a sequel series they never finished adapting, which is Trigun Maximum, which is the immediate continuation of that particular series, just relaunched as Maximum. Yeah, they never really adapted, and this character makes debut here. Does she speak? Not really, no. It's mostly with silent stuff. There's Legato here, Legato Fang, and then they're brought away by people seeing a flashback. One of the guys who speaks, these weird guy with a mask. So apparently, Nicholas decided to get brought away by these people who apparently work for Millions Knives. It works for Knives Millions. Yep. So, he's experimented on by William, who's referred to here as Pastor William. Yep, a pastor is a scientist. Okay, fine. So, Basically, he undergoes the same experiment that was seen in the flashback of the last episode. Here it's a bit more expanded upon, where apparently Wormwood the same thing, but unlike the other guy became big and bulky, Nicholas survived. And he got a little bit taller over the course of a few months, even though naturally this doesn't happen, but because of genetics. So at one point he tries to escape, after apparently getting some material to basically regenerate his body, and then he's stopped by this mysterious force that crumples him. And that's where we get the anime debut of Legato. Yes, this is where we get his debut here, where apparently his power is basically unleashing gravity. Excuse me. Yes. Yeah, apparently he can actually, like, almost like gravity, like, hurt him, and of course, then William shows him to stop, and of course, Legato's here. Apparently he's been partially converted to cybernetic. Somehow this flashback. And of course, they try to stop him. And then we see the debut of something that did show previous series, the Badland Bandits. Yes, and they updated them. Just like the Sand Steamer. And apparently they cover with neon signs now. I have no idea why. It just basically is the 21st century, so we got to update everything here. And by the way, Mary and Roberto are following in their van, following a sand steamer in a van. Well, it's road, it's on ground, so. And by the way, when they show off the sand steamer, like, they have an intercom that you would see you hear at an airport or a train station. Yes, I don't know why in the world they would need a sand steamer, but apparently need it for covering long distances. Because they're going from this port and going all the way to the City of July, which apparently is sort of on the other side of the planet. Which in this anime is referred to as No Man's Land, and the original one they referred to as Gunsmoke. Yep. And by the way, this is another episode, Million's Knives. This Knives Million, despite the fact he's mentioned, does not physically appear in this episode. Nope. Second episode where he's mentioned but does not appear. But yeah, I appreciate this episode. I thought was a lot better than the last episode. I thought this episode was okay. This one I thought was a good step in the right direction. And we get more of this hopefully when they release next episode, which is called Warfare, which explores more of his backstory. Yep. Sweet. But yeah, that's episode review. Next episode, Comic Corner. After that will be Case Closed. And we want to come out that, I'll call and I have that. Okay. Let's view. Bye.